Good morning, everybody. So we're on page 900 as we finish out the book of Bamidbar this week with a double Parsha of Mattot and Massay. So I am here today, that's pretty obvious. I'm here the next 2 Tuesdays. Then I'll be away for 2 Tuesdays again. Okay, but I'm here. Today is the 10th. So the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th. I'm here. Okay? So let us begin. Vayedaber Moshe. Someone lead off for us. Not Rachel, doesn't have her glasses. Someone lead off for us in Hebrew.
וידבר משה אל ראשי המטות לבני ישראל לאמור, זה הדבר אשר ציווה השם. איש כי ידור נדר להשם או יישבע שבועה לאסור איסר על נפשו, לא יכול דברו ככל היוצא מפי יעשה.
Beautiful. Ba'anglit, in English, please.
Moses spoke to the heads of the tribes of the children of Israel, saying, "This is the thing that Hashem has commanded. If a man takes a vow to Hashem or swears an oath to establish a prohibition upon himself, he shall not desecrate his word. According to whatever comes from his mouth shall he do."
Okay. Lo yachel divaro. Right? He shall not desecrate his word. Chol is like mundane. We need to realize that our words have kedusha. Our words have holiness. Our words have power to them. Ramban says very beautifully back in Bereshit, and God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Who did God say that to? Who's he talking to? I don't know if the angels are even there at that point. Right?
It's a command,
Right? So it doesn't necessarily mean God said. I mean, I don't know what that means, God said. God willed there to be light, and there was light. So why does the Torah describe God's will as God said? To teach us that words create. And if words create, words can also destroy. And that's why the Torah couched creation using the words, the terms, and God spoke. Right? And this whole Parsha, this whole topic of Nidarim, of oaths, is incredible. We understand, right? A kosher burger, you're allowed to eat that. A pig, right? A pork cheeseburger, right? You're not allowed to eat. That is something that is prohibited. But my words can take a glatt kosher burger, and if I make a neder, I take an oath, and I say that this is prohibited to me, then that becomes prohibited. My words have the ability to halachically transform this from something that is permitted to something that is prohibited. Our words have the ability to create a transformation of something. I'm always moved when I perform a wedding. And under the chuppah, I did your wedding, didn't I? And under the chuppah, words are spoken. Hariat mikudeshet li betabatzu kamat kedas Moshe Yisroel. You are sanctified to me with this ring, according to the laws of Moses in Israel. And those words bring about a transformation. Whereas before we had a single man and a single woman, now those words have transformed them into a married couple. In a spiritual sense, these two half souls have fused into one. In a legal sense, there are responsibilities, there are obligations now that they have to one another. It's just the words that transform. But I saw a very, very beautiful thought here. Vaidaber Moshe, and Moshe spoke to the heads of the Mattot, the heads of the tribes, saying, and he speaks about the oaths. If we're introducing new laws, new teachings that we haven't heard before, what pasuk might we imagine the Parsha should have begun with? What is the most common verse in the entire Torah?
And God spoke to Moshe.
And God spoke to Moses, saying, Vaidaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. God spoke to Moses, saying. So over here, why didn't it begin? And God spoke to Moses, saying, right? You want to speak to the heads of the tribes? Fine enough, and tell them about the laws of oaths. Another point that Rav Nissen Albert makes. This is a little, well, the term that we normally use for the heads of the tribes is the Nesiim. The Nesiim. That's the term that we've used throughout. Over here we're calling them Rashei HaMatot. Again, English as the heads of the tribes. So why are we deviating? So let's look back for a minute to Parshat Chukat. Page 842. Psukim Zayin and Chet. Right? Towards the bottom of 842, verses, we're starting with verse 7 in Hebrew first, and then we'll go into the English. Okay? Be'ivrit, Vakasha.
והשקעת את העדה ואת יעירם, ויקח משה
ממשיך את המטה
מלפני אדוני וכאשר ציווהו. ויקהילו משה ואהרון את הקהל אל פני הסלע, ויאמר להם, שמעונה המורים, מן הסלע הזה נוציא לכם מים. וירם משה את ידו ויח את הסלע ומטהו פעמיים,
There's one more pasuk, or actually two more. Vayomer. Very good. Very, very tragic series of events. In English, please, from 7. Linda, you want to take that for us?
Hashem spoke to Moses, saying, take the staff and gather together the assembly, you and Aaron your brother, and speak to the rock before their eyes, that it shall give its waters. You shall bring forth for them water from the rock, and give drink to the assembly and their animals.
Okay, so before we turn the page, so this is the classic when Moshe was supposed to speak to the rock. Now, this is towards the very end of the 40 years. We're about to enter the land of Israel. There was a similar episode when we first left Egypt, and Moshe was told to do what? To hit the rock, which he did. Over here is being told to speak to the rock. So why does it say kachet hamateh? Why does it say take the staff? If he's supposed to be speaking to the rock, why was he told to take his staff?
Has the power, even if we don't speak to him?
So you want to say there's some power to the staff. Okay? But let's just note that, right? Interesting. If the whole idea is not to hit the rock, but to speak to the rock, Why was he told kach et hamateh, to take the staff? Let's continue in the English.
Moses took the staff from before Hashem, as he had commanded him. Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation before the rock, and he said to them, "Listen now, O rebels, shall we bring forth water for you from this rock?" Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock with his staff thrice. Abundant water came forth, and the assembly and their animals drank. Hashem said to Moses and to Aaron, "Because you did not believe in me to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you will not bring the congregation to the land that I have given them. They are the waters of strife, where the children of Israel contended with Hashem, and he was sanctified through them."
Good. So Moses, verse 9, took the staff as he had commanded him. So it seems, Rav Albert explains here, that Moshe misunderstood. Right? If I'm supposed to take the staff, then presumably, right, I can use it. What changed? How come 38, 39 years ago, Moshe was told, take the staff and hit the rock? And now Moshe is being told, take the staff and don't hit the rock. Speak to the rock. What's changed? And the fact that he then hit the rock, for something that has changed in these 38 years, that it went from being commanded to hit the rock, to his hitting the rock caused that he will never enter the land of Israel. I spent my second Shabbos in Israel. We were up north by close friends of ours who are Menachemiyah. How do you pronounce Menachemiyah? Right, which is along the Jordan River, and actually it's up above. Right, well, it's right in the area where you can look across and you see the country of Jordan. Right? And you see the mountains along the plain over there. One of those mountains, I don't know which one they call it, one of those mountains, they call it Nebi Musa, which is Arabic for Navi, the prophet, Moshe. That's where Moshe, well, the Torah tells us we don't know where Moshe was buried. No one will ever know where Moshe was buried because it's not meant to be a shrine to Moshe. However, right, they attribute a certain mountain that Nebi Musa, where Moshe is buried. Moshe, tragically, with all that he did for the children of Israel to get us out of Egypt and to bring us the land of Israel, Moshe tragically was not able to bring us in to the land. And according to some of the commentators, when he said, "Shlach na biyad tishlach," send with the one you want to send, right? He was saying almost painfully, I'm not going to bring the children into the land of Israel. So let whoever is going to end the process, let them start the process. And we know that Hanan, we'll have that in a few weeks' time. Moshe is pleading to be able to enter the land of Israel, but he was not allowed to because he hit instead of speaking. Yet 38 years before, that's what he was supposed to do. What has changed over these 38 years?
Well, the people no longer feel the same strength to Hashem. They don't really recognize him as much because they've gone through 39 years of going nowhere and taking care of.
Oh, so Linda wants to say that our belief has diminished in God, and therefore we needed more of a miracle. Right? I don't know if I would agree with that, because the whole 40 years in the Midbar, which was, right, our being miraculously sustained, right, that's our Sukkot holiday, remembering the clouds and the booths in the, right, so that was there in order to build us up. That was to get us ready for it.
He's angry. Moshe is angry, and he speaks angrily to the people.
Okay, so according to some, Moshe's the mistake here was that Moshe got angry.
And when you're angry, you lash
Okay,
out.
but what I'm asking, I agree with that. What I'm asking is, why is it that what was the proper act beforehand, hitting the rock, now has become such a terrible misdeed. Granted, according to some, Rambam, Moshe got angry over here and he was held accountable for that anger. But I'm asking, why has this idea of hitting a rock gone from the thing to do to the worst possible thing that Moshe can ever do? Yeah, Rachel.
Maybe it goes back to what you said in the beginning, that the words can destroy. So maybe, you can destroy something easily with a hammer, but you can build something destroyed with words. I don't know.
Okay, good. We're going to build on that soon. Ruti?
I was going to say something similar, but I'm thinking maybe because Moshe already knows that Hashem, whatever he says, that he can believe now more, because he also made his level. So his level went up and up and up, because all what Hashem said, he did, and he saw it, and now he has to listen more.
So Moshe's level went up, so he's held more accountable for it. Good. So Moshe had to listen, but still, why is hitting the rock 38 years before, that's the thing to do? And so granted he got angry and he didn't listen. But what has changed so dramatically? I'm sorry?
In the people or in Moshe?
Either or. I'm putting that out to you.
You're going to give us the answer.
In the first place, when he hit the rock at first, did he say Hashem, we thank Hashem, or give credit to Hashem? Where here he didn't at all mention Hashem.
No, I don't think we make that distinction. Dove.
These are new people. These are new people. They were not in Egypt mostly, and Moshe had now a special opportunity to reach them.
Okay. Let's build on that and what Rachel and Ruti said.
But also
Yes.
it says here, though, because you did not believe in me to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, you will not bring the congregation to Israel. So he didn't sanctify him.
Correct, right? But I'm taking a step back from that. I understand Moshe did the wrong thing. God told him to speak, and he hit. What I'm asking is, why was there this transition from the right thing being hitting the rock 38 years ago to the right thing being speaking to the rock and hitting the rock, that which was the correct thing to do a mere 38, 39 years ago, has become nuclear.
What I was going to say is maybe Hashem is expecting more from him now.
Okay, and I would say, what I'm going to propose is that the people have gone through a transformation. There are different ways. There are different ways to lead. Okay? One way to lead is carry a heavy stick. That's one way to lead. There's another way to lead, which is to present, to explain. I was reading years ago a book on parenting, right? And it used to be, actually the Gemara says that, when your child will listen to you, then you can force him. Once he's no longer listening to you, you can't force him anymore. And until when can you force him? The Gemara says 18, 22, 24.
Yeah, sure.
That was then. Rav Voldi Zatzal, the great, of blessed memory, the great educator and the great ethicist, he says, nowadays, it's like from age 2. He said, you go to hit a toddler, what's his reaction? Right? I mean, if I could reach you, I'd hit you back. Right? Already from the time the kid's a toddler. Right? I'll hit you back. Who are you to hit me? Right? There is this sense, and with teenagers, right? It's all sales. It's all sales. You've got to sell it to them. You've got to get them to sign on. So when we left Egypt, we were in this slave mentality. So what works? What gets things done? That's what gets things done. Okay. Right? Take the stick, smack that rock. And what's going to happen? Waters will come out. That's how you get it to listen. This is a new generation now. This is a new period. We're now going to be entering into the land of Israel. It's a completely different time now. Different times calls for different leaders. Right? So therefore Moshe was told, take the stick, but speak to the rock. Meaning, as a leader, you have the ability to try to impose your will on others. Take the stick. You have the ability to impose your will, but realize that's not the best way to do it. That's not going to be effective. And if you want to be the leader for this new generation, take the stick, but don't use it. Speak. Speak to the rock. The power of words is far surpasses anything that can be imposed by force with the stick. Therefore, Moshe would not be the one to lead us into the land of Israel. Some explain it that it's not necessarily a punishment. I told you to speak and you hit the rock, therefore you're going to be punished. You're not going to lead. You won't lead them to the land of Israel. Some people are the right person for a certain time, and then they're no longer the right person for that job. It doesn't mean they weren't the right person, but it means at this point the situation has changed and you are no longer the right person for the job. Moshe, by using the stick as opposed to holding the stick but using his words, was not the right person for the job.
That's shocking, though, when you think of it, considering how many skills he gained.
Yeah. Let's come back.
Can I just take one comment?
Yes, though.
I put a thought out there. Yeah, if Moshe went into Israel, they wouldn't have any conquest. Everybody would
Okay. Okay. Let's go back to page 900, our Parsha this week. Vaydaber Moshe el Rashi Mattot livnei Yisroel le'mor. Moshe spoke to the Rashi Mattot of the children of Israel, the heads of the tribes, saying, this is the matter that God has commanded. A person, if he makes an oath or swears to prohibit something, do not desecrate his words. Whatever comes from his mouth shall he do. Right? This is what Rachel has said before. Right? So this is all about the power that words have. So why doesn't it begin, and God spoke to Moshe saying? Moshe is speaking on his own, from his own experiences, from his own life, right? From that which will haunt him until the day of his death, right? That which will hold him back from his lifelong dream of entering and leading the children of Israel into the land of Israel. Therefore, it's not, sometimes you hear it from someone, it's one thing. When you've experienced it yourself, it's a whole different level. And who are they referred to over here? Vaydaber Moshe el Rashi Mattot. Remember we said before, what's the usual term for the tribe leaders? Nesiim. Here they're called Rashi Mattot. Isn't that fascinating? Mattot. Mattot can mean tribe. What else can Mattot mean? Sticks. Mateh. the staff, right? Moshe was told to take the mateh. Now he's speaking to the Rashi HaMattot. Almost as if he's saying to them, look at me. Look at my experience. Look at my lesson over here. Look what happened with me. Right? And understand the power of words. Words can create. Words can destroy. Words transform, whether it's under a chuppah. Words transform relationships, whether it's wherever we are. I could make something hekadesh. I can consecrate this, and now this belongs to the Beit HaMikdash. This belongs to the temple. I can't use it for myself. At best, right, it will go into the Beit HaMikdash gift shop. I joked, I think, last week that, when the Beit HaMikdash is built, I wonder if, when you leave the Beit HaMikdash, it's going to force you to go through the gift shop. Right? Well, when we left Spain, right? So you can't get into the international, you can't get to the international flights unless they send you IKEA style, right? Through all these different aisles of the duty-free goods, right? So if I'm makdish this goes into the Beit HaMikdash gift shop, and someone say, oh, I can use that cup. And then that money becomes consecrated, and this becomes deconsecrated. My words can make something hektish, can make something belonging to the temple. The Gemara actually says, Amirato ligvoa k'mesirato lehedyot. Fascinating halachic concept. That which I say should be for the spirit, for the holy realm, it's the same thing as giving it to a commoner, to a regular person. Meaning, I say, I'm going to give you this cup. I decide I'm not going to give you this cup. The cup remains mine. I gave you the cup. You took possession of the cup. Now I say, hey, I want my cup back. What's your response?
It's mine.
It's not your cup anymore. Now it's my cup. That's how it works within the earthly realm. Mesirato, you have to give it over to a hedyot. But if I say this is going to become hektish, it's hektish. It's done. My words transform this into a consecrated item, or my words can take this glatt kosher burger, this glatt kosher piece of steak, and say it's asur to me, and now it becomes prohibited. And I've said many times, I know for myself, if we look back on our life at that which was most hurtful to us, or that which was most comforting to us, invariably I think we're going to find that it was words, it was sentiments that were expressed to us that hit us most deeply. It's the words that someone said or that they didn't say that either made us feel great or just brought us down. For me, I've said before, what always comes back is when I was on my 8th grade basketball team, and we were playing against another team, and it was getting towards the end, and I hit a good shot. It was an important shot for the game for my team, and the only thing I heard was my father's voice rising above everyone else. Attaboy, Gene, attaboy, that's my boy. Everything else was silent. And my father's voice, I still hear it today. When I made that shot, hearing my father's voice. The words have this incredible, incredible power. Okay, let's go a little bit further. We then went to battle on page 904 against the Midyanim, against the Midianites. Why did we go to battle against the Midianites? Well, they had caused us tremendous harm. Right? Bilam wanted to curse us, right? And thereby bring down God's disfavor on us. He didn't succeed. Instead, what do? They sent their daughters to seduce the men. And many men were seduced. And this led to a tremendous lowering of our spiritual standing. And it even got us involved in idolatry. And not just any idolatry, but the most perverse of idolatry, known as Baal Peor. Baal Peor is what sounds to us as a sickening type of idolatry. Baal Peor, one would defecate, urinate, eliminate bodily wastes in front of this idol. And that is how one worshipped it. And the Gemara tells some stories that someone wanted to show just how depraved, how sick this is. And the person took care of his needs and then took the idol and used the idol to clean himself after having done his needs. And the priest of that gushed and said, "No one has ever served this in as meaningful a way as you." And the Gemara also tells a story of a woman who was told that the only way that she would be cured of her illness was by worshiping every idolatry that was in the world. And she started her world, her magical mystery tour to go around and do every idol. And she came to Baal Peor and she said, "You know something? I'd rather die. Thanks anyhow." Yet we were pulled to this. We clung to this as a result of the Midianites. What was the lure of this Baal Peor? Right? It seems just ridiculous. But there are different explanations that are given. One of those is, people, will say, "Oh, I'm a big joker, big joke. Don't joke about my mother." Right? That's where I draw the line. Right? We could joke around, but this is serious. Right? Not my mother. Right? Everyone has the point where they draw the line. Right? That's going too far. The lure of Baal Peor was nothing is sacred. There's nothing that I can do that you can say, "Oh, you've gone too far. Oh, that's not right." Baal Peor is an absolute free-for-all. Baal Peor means orgy. Nothing is sacred. There's nothing that anyone can do that you could tell me, "Now you've gone too far," if that's what I do with my God. If that's what I do with my God, and the more that I degrade my God, the greater is the service. Because the further I go with the degradation, I've just pushed that boundary out further and further and further, that there's nothing that is, "Now you've crossed the line." I cross every single line with this. And that opens up everything until then. And I can do whatever I want. Right? Think of the transition from the 50s to the 60s in the United States. Right? Where it was very, very buttoned up and prim and proper. And then it went to everything, anything, you name it. Why not? And we live with that today. Who is anyone else to impose your morals on me? It's all relative. I've got my morals. You have your morals. Enjoy them. But who are you to tell me what I can do? So we can understand that the children of Israel, when they were in this box of God's scrutiny, this box of the clouds of glory, right? It was non-stop, right? How many of us enjoy having the video camera on you, right? Okay, it's good for a moment, but hey, please move it. It's still on me. It's still on me. It's still on me. I'm going to sleep. It's on me. I wake up. It's still on me. Wherever I go, whatever I do, it's still on me. Whoa. Right? What do you want to do? You want to get out of there. Baal Peor was the opposite extreme. So all of this was loosed on us by Midian, and therefore we're going to battle against Midian. Yes, Janet.
Conversely, though, it's like the high of being in love. If we had this elevated status and this closeness to Hashem, isn't that such a nice
beautiful
thing?
Beautiful. There's always the two sides to each coin.
So wasn't that enough to keep?
There are two sides to each coin, right? On one hand, right, it is an incredible endearment, an incredible care, an incredible closeness, right? But if I want to break out, then it becomes oppressive. And that's is where the lines split. Those who broke out with Baal Peor, those who embraced that embrace, that closeness, that constant connection. So what happens? They come back after the battle. Page 904. Vayetzu Moshe, verse 13. Vayetzu Moshe Elazar Kohen, v'chol Nisei Adel Kratam. Moshe, Elazar, and the other Nisiyei Haidai. Here we call them Nisiyim, right? They went out to greet the soldiers as they returned. Outside the camp. Vayiksof Moshe al Pekudei Hechayil. Moshe became angered with the commanders. Why was he angered? Page 906. Vayomer Aleim Moshe hachiyitem kol nekeva. Hein heinu hayu levnei Yisroel v'dvar bilam l'sar mal b'Hashem al dvar peor. V'atiyem magifa ba'adat Hashem. You brought the females back? It was they who caused the children of Israel, the word of Balaam, to commit a betrayal against Hashem regarding the matter of Peor. And the plague occurred in the assembly of Hashem. Right? According to the Medrash, right? She's the one who seduced this guy. She's the one who did that. Moshe got angered. Okay. Let's go down to the next paragraph. Verse 21. Vayomer Elazar HaKohen El Anshei HaTzava B'Milchama Zot Chukat HaTorah Shetzivah Hashem et Moshe. Elazar, the Kohen, taught them, these are the laws of the Torah that Hashem commanded Moshe. Achet HaZahav et HaKez et HaChosh et HaBarzav et HaVidiyah et HaMefaret Kol Basher Yavo Be'esh Tavir Be'esh V'Teher Ach Mein Yichata V'Shelo Be'esh Tavir B'Mayim. Fascinating. Yesterday with my conversion class, so we went through the laws of koshering, of kosherizing. Okay? How do you kosherize? How do you kosher something? Well, it depends. Let's look. Verse 22. Only the gold and the silver, the copper, the iron, the tin, and the lead. Everything that comes into the fire, you shall pass through the fire. It'll become purified. Right? And it must be pure with water sprinkling. Everything that will not come in the fire, you shall pass through the water. There are two ways that we kosher something. Either we use a blowtorch, or we use immersion in boiling hot water. When do we use immersion in boiling hot water? Something that became non-kosher through immersion in liquid. A pot, where you cook things in the pot. So therefore it was through the medium of a liquid that it became non-kosher. So how do you get this to purge any of this non-kosher that might have been absorbed? The same way that it went in, kabolo, kach polto. The same way that it absorbed, that's how it is polet. That's how it will expel. That's how it will be purged. it was with hot water, you immerse it in boiling hot water. A frying pan that doesn't work for. Why doesn't a frying pan work for that? Why doesn't that work for a frying pan? Because that wasn't through water, that was through direct fire, dry fire. What must you use over there? A blowtorch. Most of our frying pans are not going to take a blowtorch. That's why people will give away their frying pans and buy themselves new frying pans. So the laws of koshering, we're learning out from the spoils of the battle that were taken from the battle against Midian. But what's very strange, 21, Elazar HaKohen said to the men of the battle. Why is Elazar HaKohen teaching this? Why isn't Moshe the one who's teaching this? Rashi says, those who can follow in the Rashi script, it's the second column, the very top line. Lefi sheba Moshe l'chlal ka'as. Because Moshe got angry, ba l'chlal ta'ut. Therefore he came to the point of making a mistake. Shenet al mumimenu hilchot giulei goyim. He forgot the laws of koshering, of making kosher vessels that are not kosher, vessels that were gotten from non-Jews. And the sages say, right, v'chein, let's go further, atamotse b'shmini lemiluin, when they were consecrating the Mishkan. Shenemar, and it says, vayichtsof al Elazar v'leitamar, Moshe got angry. He thought that they didn't properly process the sacrifices there. He came, l'chlal kas, ba l'chlal ta'ut. He came to make a mistake. V'chein, and similarly what we started with earlier today, Shimuna Hamorim, Vayach et Hasela. Listen, you rebellious ones. As Cheryl had said, right, that in the case of this hitting the rock, right, he got angry, right, Vayach et Hasela, and he hit the rock, Ayidei HaKa'as Ta'a. Because of his anger, he made a mistake. Now, what's fascinating here, what Chaim Shmulevitz points out, is when we get angry, we often justify it. What's our justification?
The other person.
Yeah. Right? They really did something bad. Right? I should be angry. Right? Very often, there are justifiable reasons for getting angry. But what we see here is Moshe was justified in these three cases. Nevertheless, what happens? When you get angry, you make mistakes. Even when it's justified. Right? I imagine, I mean, I'm not much of a doctor, but when we're angry, we are sort of overloading our circuits, right? We are shortcutting a lot of the decision-making processes that we like to utilize before we do something, and we're just short-circuiting. We're cutting out a lot of our reason, a lot of our understanding, a lot of our thought process, and we come and we make mistakes. So should a person never get angry?
No.
Yes, a person should never get angry. Might a person need to act angry at times?
Yes.
Might need to act angry at times. You might need to act angry. One of my favorite stories from the years I was running camp in Israel. I was running a boys' sleepaway camp. They were little kids. They were so funny. They were so cute. And we had just first day of camp. We checked in, and we were renting in Gan Yavne. There was a high school that we were renting, and they had dormitories. So we were using the dormitories for the right. They were off in the summer. We rented it for the 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks of camp, whatever it was. And these little kids, cutest little kids, we just got there. They're unpacking. They go and they stuff up the shower and they start to flood the place. So I went there, right, and I started to give it to them. And these kids were like they're looking at me like this. They were the cutest, funniest kids I had ever seen. But I had to be angry. But they were so delicious. They were so cute. And I almost couldn't control myself. And I said, 1 minute, I'll be back in 1 minute. Don't you go away. I went to the next room. I burst out laughing. I came back with a very serious face. Said, do you want to go home? We started camp today. You want to go home today? Right? And took care of it. Right? There are times that you have to look angry. And I'm not saying that I don't get angry. But what we see from here is it's never beneficial. It's never beneficial to be angry. The Gemara compares being angry to being drunk. When we're drunk, we think what we're doing makes sense.